Hi everyone, and welcome back to another TFT Masterclass. Today we will be talking about 3 augments that you should be taking on set 12 release. So the 3 we are going to be talking about today is Build Different Flex, talking about how to play this, how to play around the augment. Same thing with the Fortune Favors the Bold augment, how to cash out properly and win out. And then the last one is how to play Temper with the Pilfer augments. At the end, we'll do a recap and a Q&A for anyone watching this live. So the point of these 3 augments is they're really going to tailor your path in your game into specific game plans, into specific compositions. So that's why talking about these 3 in particular is very important. So here are their 2-1 augment stats. As you can see, they're actually quite good. So remember that any stats where the average placement is close to or under 4.0 represents a strong augment / item / unit, regardless of whatever the stat is talking about, because remember below 4, well, 4th place is where you want to at least aim for. So anything technically higher above 4th, so like 3rd, 2nd, 1st, or 3.0, 2.0 means it's very good. So as you can see here, this is the 2-1 stats. So Built Different is averaging a 3.85 on PBE. One thing to note is these PBE stats are not 100% accurate just because of just the absence of rank. However, this is just compiled stats, so this is very good. Pilfer is also very good. And the reason why 4.37 is still pretty good. However, Fortune Favors the Bold has a really high win rate, but also a decently high like bot 4 rate just because of how like volatile the augment is, which is why I wanted to talk about it. These 3 augments are really strong gold augments. They'll either provide you like an economic or item value. So like here, economic, this is item and econ, or just pure combat stats through Built Different. So let's start off with Built Different. This augment has been around for a couple sets now. So the new numbers, so any basically units without any traits, they will gain health and attack speed based on the current stage. So this is once again traitless units. So as long as you don't have the trait activated for those couple of units, they will gain this bonus. So what you want to do is you want to be playing around 4-cost AD units. Generally, I'll talk about this more later, on level 8 on stage 4. Playing around the 4-cost is super important just because we don't really want to be re-rolling with this composition. We just want to be playing a lot of 4-costs on level 8 that will make use of this raw HP stat and this raw attack speed. Now this is better than having or playing units where they rely on their trait active, whether this trait is reliant on giving that unit AD or damage amp. We'd rather just have units that benefit from the raw HP, so either scaling with the HP and / or with the attack speed. So what does this mean? It means that champions such as like Rise is better than Nami and Karma. Karma really wants Incanter in, and Nami really wants Mage in, so that's why this Rise is better. Also, he just scales with attack speed. This is why Camille is better than Olaf. Olaf relies on Hunter for attack damage, also relies on Frost for attack damage, so without any of these 2 traits active, the only attack damage he'll be getting is from augments and / or items. So just playing Camille is better. Also, Camille is just a better tier unit. These 2 are not actually related. However, this is just like a fighter unit that you want to be playing. And then this very last one, so Milio, I think right now is one of the best 5-cost units to be playing around Built Different. He doesn't have any unique traits, just Fairy and Scholar, and a very strong 5-cost unit, being able to give all your 4-costs or other 5-costs with the bonus HP, with the bonus attack speed, a ton of items. So that's why we will eventually be playing Varus. However, I believe that Kalista is better than Varus until you have Milio, because Kalista makes a lot better use of just the attack speed and doesn't care too much about like multi-striker being active compared to Varus, who is okay with attack speed. However, the main brunt of his ability or main brunt of his damage comes from his ability, and really wants that trait active of Blaster to give him that damage amp. That's a quick intro into the composition. This is what you want to be playing early. So ideally, you want to be playing some of the strongest units from each trait SS class. So always try to have like a melee bruiser holder. This is because we are going to be wanting to prioritize or even just play around like Varus, Kalista, or Fiora items. So this means we're going to need a frontline melee bruiser. So Nyla is really strong. Jace is also really strong as well until you find a shapeshifter frontline. The front line, does any just strong unit like Nico is very good because she scales with HP, so the HP she gains from Built Different will really help in her kits. Galio and Shen are strong as well, and then the back line, just any Ginsu Rageblade holder, so like Ashe, Tristana, Kog'Maw, and I think Cassiopeia is okay as well, but she definitely does want Incanter in her kit, which is why I did not list her in here. So that's from like level 3s to 6. Ideally, this is kind of a it's quite easy to win streak because you have a combat augment on stage 2. However, you still want to be making as much econ as possible because you want to be on level 8 rolling for those expensive 4 costs. So this is just an example of a level 6 board that you could play in the early game. On actual stage 4 is where we're going to make the brunt of our decisions. So one thing to note is because we're going to be 2-starring a lot of 4 costs, that's at least like 12 gold per 2-star unit. So this is rather an expensive composition. So if you're not rich on 4-2 and you're carrying at least like a 2-star 3 cost or just have like a pretty solid board, it's fine to wait until 4-5 before leveling and rolling on level 8. One thing to note, the 3 main units is like Callista, slash Varus, Fiora, and then like Tark, Nasus, Tahm Kench. So if this is very heavily contested just throughout the lobby, then it might be better to just level on 4-2 and cop your 2-star version of your unit, or at least a pair. You're super encouraged to play duplicates of strong units. So if you have, it just depends on your roll down. If you hit like 4 Nasuses, then you can play double Nasuses. Same thing with Tahm Kench, same thing with Tark. This is fine. Even Fiora as well. Fiora is super strong right now. And if you don't have Emilio, as I explained earlier, definitely play that Callista over your Varus. And then once you do have it, then you can start playing Varus, and you'd have to take out that Nasus for a second Tahm Kench or a second Tark. In regards of the composition, just going level 8 or level 9, it's much rare for built diff compositions to go level 9. One thing to note is with the new introduction of charms late game, it's much more worth it in most cases to stay level 8 and roll for a good combat charm each round, especially after stage 5. And also another win out condition for this composition is going for a 3-star 4 cost, because you're playing so many different 4 costs. This is how you kind of want to cap out your board and then eventually go for like a 3-star 4 cost. So once you hit that Milio, then you'll be taking out that Callista and then taking out your Nasuses for other units, either like double Tahm Kench or like double Fiora. This is all augments. Well, of course, you need build different in order to play this composition on 2-1. I don't recommend taking this on 3-2 just because from 2-1, you'll already have kind of your game plan, but on 3-2, it's just a little bit harder to tech in the build different units and have a strong mid-game board. This isn't just in most cases. Inspiring Epitaph, because of the extra HP that these build different units have, you'll have a larger shield from the Inspired Epitaph. I'm the carry now is your Sentinel that gets 3 items. That Sentinel does not have a trait, so will benefit from the health and the attack speed. And then Martyr, same thing, kind of the idea of the Inspiring Epitaph. With the large or more HP on your entire board per unit, they'll be getting a larger percentage of the Martyr health heal. So that's the build different composition. It's super fun. Make sure to take it on 2-1 if you are comfortable, and then that is how you want to be playing it. The next one is one of my favorite ones. Fortune favors the bold. So essentially in each set, there is kind of a risky econ / cash out trait. Now it's been converted into an augment called Fortune favors the bold. It's the exact same thing as like previous Fortune ideas. Now the game plan for this is to lose streak until at least like 8 to 12 losses, and then go for a cash out. So you just win a round, and then from there you will reap the rewards and try to win out from there, which means just continue winning after that with the extra resources and try to go first. The reason why I say 8 is because this is going to be the first chance to get a Tactician's Crown, which really bumps the power of your board. Recently there were some adjustments to the actual augment, so reward triggers on ties as well as wins. One thing to note is the 6 to 10 losses have been nerfed by a bit, or actually by a substantial amount, and then 12 plus losses have been buffed. So that's why I would say like 8 to 12, either this is fine, but you definitely don't want to be accidentally cashing out like a 1 to 6 or even a 1 to 7. So that is what the augment does. Make sure that you use lol.chess.gg or meta TFT to check out the fortune tables. This is really important because this will give you an idea of what cash out to expect. So whether this is like, oh, I have a really good chance of getting like an artifact anvil, like keep a slot open, or like thieves gloves, or like if I get a masterwork upgrade, what item will I be looking to use that masterwork upgrade on? So early game, you definitely want to be prioritizing your econ. As I mentioned, you want to be lose streaking and not winning. So if you have a choice of either making econ or playing / holding units, then definitely make your econ instead. Make sure to lose every round until you have at least 8 losses ideally. One thing you can do is scout around for the enemy boards in your pool, see if there's any units that you can kill, and then you can play units that have a lot of single target damage to kill those units and save some HP. Even if you save 1 HP per round in stage 2, that is still very beneficial, and maybe will give you that 1 extra life that you need to get that final cash out. So some single target damage units are like Nunu, Jace, Zoe, and then you definitely want to make sure that you're positioning so they're all attacking the same units. Normally this would be like a 1-star copy of like an enemy frontline unit that you try to snipe down, and then from there you just kill some units, save some HP, and just it's better overall. That's the early game plan. Once you get to stage 4 and once you're around like 20 to 30 HP, depending on your items, just roll down on level 8. Ideally, you want to have like a 4-cost centered board, and you want to try to win around and then cash outs. The reason why you do this around 20, 30 HP is this maintains 2 life. If you go below 20, you might just be at 1 life at a risk, and if you somehow get scammed or like wrapped on one fight, then you're just dead. And then anything over 30 is still like a lot of HP. If you're at 3 lives, then you can afford to lose 1 more. Cash outs, once you cash out, this should stabilize your board with the extra resources, whether it is like items or like attack crown or just units. And then you want to try to go level 9 with that extra resources instead of staying on level 8. So it doesn't actually matter which level 8 board you use to cash out, just look at your items and then play a meta composition from there, whether it's like multi-strikers, warriors, karma, those are like some of the best right now. So best install augments, of course you need the fortune augment to play this on 2-1. Martyr, Martyr is very good just because once you get to level 8, if you get attack crown and eventually you're gonna go level 9, you just get a lot of value, and the augment is just very strong in late game. One thing to note is any like resource or health resource augment for this augment is extremely good. It will give you more HP, so this translates into allowable more losses, which translate into larger cash outs. So like Tiniest Titan Plus, or just like Tiniest Titan, or Tiniest Titan Plus or Tiny Titan is extremely good for the fortune composition. The other ones, you just want to have some combat augments to help you cash out. And then item collector is really good as well because you will most likely be cashing out some sort of items. And the very last one for today, Pilfer, a new augment of set 12. So what does this augment do? Not only does it give you 5 gold right off the bat, but each round you'll gain a 1-star copy of the first unit you killed of your enemy last combat. So the goal is to position to kill the highest cost enemy unit or a unit that you need of enemy boards each round as the first champion in each combat. Make sure that you attack either like 2 or 3 costs early and try to kill those first instead of just getting a 1-cost unit. This is a temple augment that should help you get to level 8 and level 9 quickly, especially if you have a high roll opener and are able to kill some units. For your early Pilfer boards, just make sure you play your strongest board, or at least single target damage unit to kill an enemy unit. You need to make sure you're killing at least 1 unit per round to make use of this augments, and then that way you can start stacking up your econ, or even 2-starring your units if you're positioning and killing units that you need. It's best to pair Pilfer with combat augments. This is a very like econ centric augment, so then your 2nd, your 3-2, and your 4-2 definitely want to be combat augments. That's just an example of early game board that you can play. If you have some 2-star units and then applicable items for either Lilia, Poppy, or Seraphine, then you could play this and then start killing some units and building up your econ. For late game, you definitely want to be using that extra economy to roll less on level 8 and then try to cap out on level 9. So most of the time on level 9, of course, you want to be capping out on legendaries. So for your backlines can be like Xerath, you use items such as Shojin, Archangels, and Rabadons. And then for your frontline, either a Morgana, Diana, Camille as a frontline fighter, depending on your items and depending on what you hit. Very strong setup is just this Arcana Preserver board, where once again you're carrying Xerath and then you have a ton of frontline, and then you'd be wanting to use your Arcana card on Xerath because this is late game. You would have bought a lot of charms already, and you'll start doing some good true damage to the enemy boards. So super fun augments. Make sure that you take it if you have a good early opener. So of course you need Pilfer, Inspiring Epitaph, Martyr, Combat Caster. These are all combat augments that you want to be taking on 3-2 or 4-2 because you already have that econ on 2-1. And then Unified Bandit Thieves, Combat Bandages are also some really good combat augments, but not as good as these first 3. So that has been everything for today. I'll do a quick recap and then we'll head over to a Q&A. So today we talked about 3 augments that are really strong right now in the current meta, and either they're new or they're just strong, but you definitely need to know how to play them for set 12. Built Different has been around for a bit. Make sure that you just follow your early, mid, and late game plan, and you should be okay. These are the ones I provided today are the type of units that you want to be playing around. Pilfer is a new one. Tempo Augment, super fun. Gives you a unit of the first one that you kill each round, and is just a very tempo econ augment that will help you get to level 8 and 9 fast. And then Fortune Favors the Bold, super fun, super risky, definitely a 1st or 8th augment that will allow you to get some really crazy cash outs at the expense of your HP. So that has been everything for today. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all next time and have a great night.